I want to know what happens if I put phantom power on for this thing.
Don't.
But I think I could.
Won't it explode?
Why don't we test it
No.
not right before we record an episode?
Just in case.
Yeah, but then where's the danger and fun in that?
Well, no, that's what we're going to talk about is the danger and the fun in Jurassic Park.
Yes.
So, tell me, what's so dangerous about setting tourists free in an amusement park with dinosaurs?
I can't think of one thing that would potentially be dangerous.
And not only is the island full of dinosaurs, they have 4 employees. There's one guy for all the dinosaurs.
Yep.
There's one guy that like runs the place. There's another guy that debugs the place. And then he had to invite experts,
Mm-hmm.
which end up saving the day. Like if he just had his regular crew, they all would have died.
Yeah, but I still don't get the danger. I mean, it's not like we don't know anything about dinosaurs. Like, I've seen a picture of a dinosaur.
It's just like swimming with the dolphins. Run with the dinosaurs. Easy money. I don't see what the problem is.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you swim with the dolphins, you get by the dolphins.
That's
Sometimes when you run with the dinos, you get eaten by the dinos.
Yeah. Newman. See, the problem with the problem with him was he was so money oriented when, look at what you get to be a part of, man.
Yeah.
What are you
God,
doing?
Think of all the happy children's faces when
As
they
they're
get to see
being torn apart by T-Rex.
Right.
as they see a velociraptor for the first time and it eats them.
First and last time.
One thing I liked about his character was it's absurd. Like, he's a big, huge, fat guy who's talking about how good he is at integrating all these systems and stuff. You're like, all right.
And you're like,
he's just
all right,
wild.
it's the 90s. You can't be that
You
good
can't
at
be
tech.
that good at technology. There's only 3 technology.
But Michael, it's a limbic system. I know this. It has all the files, Michael. Michael,
Look,
I can lock the doors, Michael.
everybody knows that when you need to find files, you find a building schematic of the building the computer's in, and that's how you find.
Yeah, but it's a limbic system, so it's fine.
It's not.
I know
That
it.
wasn't what it was called.
No,
The
it's
limbic system is part of biology.
Yes, it's your limbic system. It helps you hack a fucking theme park.
She was a hacker.
Yes.
She hacked the one door and then instantly had control of the whole computer system, and everything was fine. She saved the day.
No, but I just love that it was Samuel L. Jackson couldn't figure it out. The guy who owns the place couldn't figure it out. And then this teenager who spends more time in a room than most teenage boys shows up and is like, I can click 3 things, and
Yep.
now the whole thing is fixed.
I don't
So,
even know if you could call her a teenager. She was like 10, maybe.
like, yeah, but still, the fact that she was
Yeah, it
just
was a
able
kid.
to walk in and fucking hit 3 buttons and
But-
suddenly fix Jurassic Park.
Earlier, there was 2 lines of dialogue that gave her the skills necessary to do this.
Well, I'm glad they wrote it in,
That's the thing.
because people like me would be like, well, how could she possibly
Right,
do that?
exactly.
There was no dialogue.
Exactly. And you're still
people like
finding a
you.
way to complain about it, even though they gave you exactly what you require for other movies. Asshole.
They're filling all the plot
Listen.
holes.
But they
for
they
us.
did do that. Like with the nerdy guy, we have no idea why. Like, because it shows with his nefarious plan. It starts with that, and then later on he's bitching at the billionaire that he wanted more money. So you're like, oh, they even gave him a reason why he's trying to sell out and
Yeah.
sabotage.
It's crazy when you write good dialogue. It gives me all the
Who
information I need.
who did the movie?
Definitely wasn't Spielberg.
Well, definitely couldn't have been a Spielberg film.
Wasn't
But
Spielberg.
I think something that's obvious to cover is 93, and there's only like a couple scenes, 30 years later, where you're like, that looked kind of funky.
Mhm.
There's only a few instances of that. Other than that, it's like in '93. It's like they did a fantastic job of making dinosaurs look super real to the point where there's hardly any of the pulling you out of it because it looks silly.
Yeah. Well, and I guess we should say welcome
I was gonna say, where
to
did
every film in the book.
the intro end and the episode start?
We'll never
We'll
know.
find out.
We'll figure it out. But we covered Jurassic Park
Yes.
this week.
And if I could make the announcement that we plan to do all 3.
But not Jurassic
the-
World.
No.
We're not doing that
Yeah, we
shit.
have standards.
I'm sick of Chris
Here
Pratt. Get him
every
out of my movies.
Unless one person asks for it, then we might do it. But for now, we're going to do these 3. So I also want to start by saying I understand this is a lot of people's favorite movie. A lot of people love this movie so much. And I don't mean to say anything mean about the movie out of like spite. I don't know. I personally didn't grow up on this movie. It came out before I was even born. So I didn't see it until I was at least a teenager, if not young adult. So I have a different perspective on this movie, I think, than a lot of children who liked it. What do you think, Steve?
I love this movie.
Yeah, Steve likes
I love dinosaurs. I love anything with a rich white guy having to eat his own shit, being like, all right, maybe I didn't do all the safety protocols before I brought dinosaurs back to life.
Yeah, that was a key thing I liked about it as
Yeah.
a child too.
Yeah, that, like when I was a kid sitting at home, I'm like, what are the economic impacts of a Jurassic Park?
I want to know how they got to the point that they were at before they were like, should we open this to the public? Like, you already went that far. Did you not do a business plan,
Well, the
cost analysis? Like, what's...
the thing that gets me is he's like, I leased this island from the Costa Rican government. Did you not tell them you were bringing dinosaurs back from the dead?
I don't think he told them.
No.
Like, or was he just like, I want to start a theme park. Haha, I'm from Scotland. Isn't this fun?
And they're like, oh, you're a white man with money. Give us the money that you
Definitely
have.
won't be any velociraptors to eat you.
Yeah, it would definitely helped Costa Rican economy, and
Yeah.
it was an island, so you know, don't make any that swim or fly, and
You're
should be
good.
pretty self-contained.
Yeah. And make sure they're all female so they can't reproduce. Oh, wait. That backfired.
Yeah, life will find a way, Steve. Life will find a way.
I got to be honest. Growing up, I always thought, why the hell would they say no to a theme park with dinosaurs? Like, that's a miracle of modern science.
Well,
like, bringing
luckily-
these things back.
Luckily, they show you a couple good reasons why they...
Well, if I
that's
can
not a
finish.
good-
So, like, when you see that as a kid, you're like, of course I want to go fucking see dinosaurs. But
Yeah.
now as you see it as an adult, you're kind of like, oh, so they didn't even have, like, security measures in place. There was a staff of 4, as Michael said. Like, there's... And, like, even when the experts that this guy brings in are like, hey, maybe we should kind of, like, think about this before you start bringing people in. The guy who opens it is like, well, I don't want to listen to you. Like, what's the
Right.
point? I thought you were just going to agree. But, you didn't offer them any money.
He did.
Or
He
any-
paid.
Did he
Three-
pay,
he
or did he just
guaranteed-
take them to the weekend?
He guaranteed 3 more years of research funding.
Oh,
Mm.
so he blackmailed them.
No, that's
no.
called a transaction.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. I see.
And you know,
Business transaction.
if everything went well, I'm sure he would have greased the wheels a little bit extra. Like, hey, you know,
It's like, oh,
Well, if they gave the endorsement, he would have
yeah.
probably paid for it.
I would have gotten you the extra thick paintbrushes to uncover the dinosaur bones instead of those
this
light
yeah,
ones.
and using shotguns.
Yes. I'll get you a real radar. You don't have to use shotgun shells
I
anymore.
mean, they have systems that work like that. I don't know. I don't think all the dinosaur bones are 10 feet underground or just below ground. Because the one they were digging up was like
It was pretty shallow.
a foot underground.
Pretty
And it was
shallow.
like...
Wouldn't they be like down in a crater?
I'm just saying,
in a
we
cave?
could go outside and start digging. There might be a velociraptor.
You don't even need to dig. You just,
just
need
have to get the grass
paintbrushes.
off. Just
Yeah,
get the
just
grass off, and there's
brush it off.
always going to be bones.
But I do like how this movie starts, but the way this starts makes you think, why would they even open this in the first place? Because just loading one velociraptor into its pen cost one guy his life. So I'm like, you're already running into safety precautions, and you haven't even opened the park yet.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's more to show the stakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like this is an intense theme park.
Right.
And then the only thing they say about it was like, yeah, his family's like upset or whatever.
Yeah,
that
they
he died.
like the
Well, that's-
family pressed a
Well,
lawsuit.
he's why that lawyer was there.
Yeah.
Because then he had to go do something, and then they were gonna have inspections, and he hates
Yeah.
inspections.
Well, that slows things
Yeah.
down, Michael.
So because he's trying to let dinosaurs out.
You don't want to bring back 65 million-year-old creatures and not have safety checks in place. That'd slow it down.
And I mean, we could. It's from '93 and Spielberg or not. Like we could nitpick this movie to death because of like even in the movie they're like, all right, well the leaves wouldn't be the same, so all the herbivores are like their gut has to adjust immediately or they die.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I like what Laura Dern says, where she's like, "Yeah, you put these plants in the lobby and they're poisonous, but you picked them because you liked how they look.
Yeah.
Like you have no idea what you're meddling with. You're just like, oh yeah, we could slap a price tag on it and sell it to people. Let's go."
Right.
Yeah.
But also, who are you to say I shouldn't?
Oh shit!
Because of danger.
Danger. I'm
So?
just saying, danger.
Danger
So?
sells.
So what?
Danger does sell.
Oh, you have the wrong plants in here, so I'm allowed to put the wrong plants in here. It's like nobody cares. Like,
I spent
come
$2
on.
billion. I'll put whatever
Exactly.
the fuck.
That's what I'm saying. Like this guy's got writing fat checks for years, and you're gonna come in and within 5 minutes critique how he's done it. Get the fuck off my island.
Well, why is he trying to bring the experts in after the fact? Like, why didn't he start with the
Well,
experts?
he had experts because they created
They
dinosaurs.
did create a lot of dinosaurs, and they grow very quickly.
Yeah,
apparently,
yep.
But no, like I think it's just their way of being like, he pushed so many like boundaries and just
Yep.
tried to go as quickly as possible. So now that he's getting a lawsuit, he actually has to bring in consultants to be like, hey, is this a good idea?
Is this a good
bad
idea? Because their influence would help get more investors, and you know.
Because if you have this random paleontologist from God knows where showing up and being like, it's cool,
This is great.
everybody's going to invest.
Well, I mean, his grandson did read his book, so he's kind of famous, you know.
So he must be a big guy.
Well, and that's why he
Yeah.
went to see them, because their opinion would carry weight.
yeah,
but-
if they're like known.
Yeah, you know all the
They're also
the known
dinosaur people that you know about
paleontologists.
off the top of your head right now, the people that study dinosaurs. Nope,
I know. I remember Aladar from the Disney movie called Dinosaur.
doesn't count. That's-
The lady from Tarzan. What
Jane.
Didn't she do
Jane.
something?
Jane. She did something. She was involved.
No, she was studying apes.
Yeah, she was
Wrong.
studying.
yeah, and there was a
Damn.
real Jane Goodall.
Yeah,
She's the monkey lady.
yeah. But the,
That's about it. That's about it.
Who's
Or,
that?
Steve Irwin.
I just love.
They're not even paleontologists.
That's all the animal people. We're just naming animals. I know nobody else.
Oi, that's a T-Rex. That's the most dangerous creature in
That's
the
a-
world.
That's a velociraptor.
If you could have got Steve Irwin to talk about dinosaurs,
Oh my god. Can you
That
imagine
would've been-
Steve
that would've
Irwin
been
in this opening scene where like Sam Neill's like rubbing the raptor claw against that kid? Oi, then it'll slit your stomach and your intestines will be on the ground. Crikey.
Fascinating.
He'll cut you here and here.
That ain't no wallaby.
And then
Oh, would you look at that?
you would just hear, she's a beaut, because all the dinosaurs are girls. You just hear that
Yeah, no.
the whole movie.
As soon as they pull up on the island
She's a beaut.
and they see the Brachiosaurus for the first time, and he's just like, oh, crikey, that's a beaut.
Crikey, that's a beaut. That's most of the dialogue.
Oi, Hammond, what the hell did you do here?
Oh my
Yeah, they're in
God.
Costa Rica, not Australia. All right. Whew.
Yeah, but they bring in the Australian to be like the games manager because he's the only one who's dealt with like ginormous creatures. Like if you've been to Australia, there's spiders the size of my butt. It's a lot.
I
He's got a lot of butt.
It's got a lot of butt. You guys can't see it at home because I'm sitting.
Steve with the dump truck. Anyway,
I could have loaded in a velociraptor.
So it's clearly set up to something's gonna go wrong. I think
Yeah.
the movie title kind of gives it away. It's like, well, this isn't gonna be a love story. Well, between man and dinosaurs, but it's not reciprocated.
Babe, what if we kissed under the Brachiosaurus?
It steps on you.
What if we kissed at the raptor pen?
So when they first get there, they're just completely awestruck and dumbfounded that they were even able to accomplish this, and the wonder starts to go away in a hurry when things just don't work at the park.
Yeah, and it kind of starts with them questioning how they created the dinosaurs, and he's like, wait, like what did you do? Like, how did you figure this out? And so like they kind of try to sweep past that quickly,
Right.
which is kind of like,
And it was
why is that the part you're trying to cover? Like, that's the least concerning part of it, I feel like.
But I mean that is the thing that's going to make them billions of dollars. So I wouldn't want to
They're not
just
trying to give it
handed
away.
out. But the funny thing with that is it was the mathematician that had the first moral qualms with, how we're interacting with nature and how we should be interacting with nature.
Yeah, and like
that was pretty cool.
I like that he is the first one to be like, okay, so your scientists didn't question if they could do it. They didn't even question whether they should do it.
Right.
Like, that's a great line where he's like, yeah, they were too concerned with whether or not they could. They didn't think of if they should. So it's like it kind of puts that into a better perspective where you're like, yeah, it would be amazing to see a freaking dinosaur again. But then you're like, it's not going to end well. Like, this thing is going to go nuts. Like, going back from, times where just creatures are running around. Now there's people and cars and, like, all this shit.
Yeah, they're trying to just create their own destruction. Like,
right. Like, it's crazy.
Not that that's their
Island,
intention,
and they had
but-
fences, and they thought it would
Yeah,
work.
well, eventually the dinosaurs will evolve to be able to move from that island, and, you
Yeah.
can't contain them.
Well, God created dinosaurs. Dinosaurs created man.
No.
Man
No.
kills God.
No.
Man creates dinosaurs. Woman inherits the earth.
You got
That's
that
pretty-
wrong.
Nope, that was pretty tidy. That was good.
Yeah. I kind of cleaned it up a little bit.
They're basically saying that, like, dinosaurs had their time. They became extinct.
Right.
So, therefore, why are we doing it again?
Yeah, because he brings up, like, the whole natural selection thing. He's like, nature chose them to die off, and we became the whatever.
An interesting thing is they even try to put you on the park owner's side a little bit with, when I came down from Scotland, the first thing I did was I made a flea circus, and then he kind of got like a wonder look in his eye telling that story, and was like, oh, okay, a little bit. Then I made okay, and he said this Jurassic Park makes the last zoo I created look like a petting zoo type thing. So like, they try to give you a little bit of like, all right, I can see a side of it, but ultimately you're just like, so when does everybody get eaten by dinosaurs?
So I hear there's some dinosaurs eating.
So, when does the T-Rex get fed? Because I want to watch that.
Right.
Yeah, there's at least 3 people that get
one-
smushed?
Yeah.
No, 2.
Samuel L. Jackson dies.
Oh,
the guy
yes,
in the
forgot about
beginning
him.
dies. And then
the
the
lawyer.
Australian and the lawyer.
Oh, the
Yep.
Australian.
And
Yeah,
then
so
the
4
tech
people.
guy. He
Oh,
gets-
yeah, and then
Oh,
Dennis
yeah.
Nedry.
he gets torn
He
up.
gets kind of like a sort of off.
Yeah,
They kind of pan away from it.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, I just remember people talking about the book. Now, I've never read it, so don't fucking take me, as fact. But they were saying that scene in the book is so much more, like, graphic and brutal. Like,
When he's getting
yeah, when
jacked.
he's getting attacked by the Dilophosaurus. But they definitely made the movie more like it's fine. Like, people are dying,
Yeah.
but you're not gonna see it. But like in the book, it's like a pure horror movie. Like, people are getting ripped to shreds, and
Right.
like there's
And
blood
I
and
think-
guts and
I don't
everything.
know. In 1993, to market that to as wide an audience as you can,
Right.
you kind of can't make it a gore fest.
Yeah, and it's,
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
we
it's
got
Spielberg, so
we
he's
gotta,
not gonna go
no,
nuts.
he doesn't go crazy.
Yeah.
So like the guy was, he got bit. The guy on the toilet gets bit, shook. That's all she wrote.
Yeah.
Not a lot of blood.
I think
too.
the kid has more blood on him than the dead people.
Yeah.
I think the bloodiest thing is the kid, and then the arm that comes in later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the severed
Um,
arm.
Yeah.
I can't believe He gave up his arm for this movie. That's crazy.
Paid an arm and a leg.
Hey, I'm just saying, Samuel L. Jackson is a true hero. He just left his arm behind. He didn't even care.
Nope.
He's like, I just want to start the power. You can have my arm.
I do like some of the dialogue between the characters. It doesn't like come to a screeching halt like
Right.
a lot of movies where you're waiting to get to the good stuff of like the action or the conflict or whatever. Sometimes the dialogue can just be slow as molasses until it gets kicked up.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree a little bit because I think the first half of the movie is pretty slow for me personally. There's not like a whole lot going on.
Yeah, it's a lot of setup in the beginning, and they're
Yeah,
trying to get you where everybody's at in their lives, I guess.
Right. That is unavoidable.
Yeah.
I think they do a good job though at not making it too miserable.
Yeah, like you'll see, like as these go on, and we're covering the second one and the third one, like it
It's
slows
gonna ramp
down
up.
a lot,
Really? Oh, really?
and like
Oh yeah, it gets kind of, I don't want to say awful,
yeah,
but it gets kind of,
because like
certain parts are kind of bad.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen the second or third original
Yeah,
Jurassic
because the
Park
second
movies.
one is following Jeff Goldblum's character,
Yeah.
and then the third one brings back Sam Neill.
Yep.
Because they were like, well, Jeff Goldblum didn't, I
And-
guess, sell enough tickets, so we'll bring back the original guys.
Mm.
And parts of them are good.
Yeah,
you know what I
mean,
mean? Like
it's
they're
still
not bad.
dinosaurs
Yeah.
attacking people, so
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
like,
still
I'm not
cool.
gonna complain. But, yeah,
and
like,
this first one is the least amount of dinosaur attacks by a pretty good margin.
Yeah, they
Mm.
definitely ramped up because
Yeah.
like there wasn't going to be a second one. Like this was supposed to be a standalone thing, but it did so well in the theaters that the studio went to the author of the book and was like, write a sequel so we can make a movie.
I think he was like,
Yeah.
write a sequel,
yeah.
Better write a sequel
or I'm
Yeah.
gonna take you to an island.
So like
with a bunch of dinosaurs and
I think his name's like Michael Crichton was the guy who wrote
Cretan or something like
yeah,
that.
wrote the book. So he just rushed out some whatever piece of
Mhm.
crap and called it, Jurassic Park 2. But like he had no intention of writing a sequel or like continuing it. And you can kind of see that in the movies as they go on. It's just
Mm.
like, all right, we're running out of ideas. We just
Yeah,
got to try
this is
something. and
This
see
is
what
to make
happens.
money.
Yeah.
Oh, and 30 years later, we're saying the same shit about movies. Oh, look, they made these to make money and
Mm.
didn't give a shit about the story. It's like,
Right.
And now they're
Nothing
doing
ever
Jurassic World and
Yeah, there's 3 Jurassic Worlds. There's
Italy's
Yeah, and then like there's going to be more, I'm sure. Like they're not going to be done.
Jurassic Universe.
Yeah.
The only thing that changes is there's like witty dialogue.
Well, yeah, it is just modern
It's
effects
just
and
modern
and-
effects
and
and
current dialogue.
a little bit,
Chris Pratt.
edgier jokes and some
Yeah, and you-
silly stuff. And it's like, no, there's a T-Rex eating someone over there. You're not going to be cracking a joke.
Yeah, and like honestly, the concept is nice. Like I like the idea of them taking it into the modern world and being like, all right, we're gonna make a theme park with dinosaurs. How logistically can we make that work without problems happening?
Right.
And of course, problems are gonna happen, or we don't have a movie. But like in this first one, it seems so much more like grounded,
Yeah.
where it's like
Yeah.
it's not so commercialized yet, like you get in Jurassic World, and it's not so like over the top yet, like you're gonna get in these sequels, where it's just kind of like it's 5 people exploring an island and
Yup.
seeing if it's a viable tourist attraction. Like
It's-
it kind of works out pretty well in this one.
There's only, and I don't even know if it was intentional product placement of the computers they were using, because they did use the computers quite a bit in the movie.
Right.
And then if you watch some of the new ones, it's an advertisement for
Yeah, and they literally
for
make
a lot of companies.
they literally
It's
make
just-
jokes where it's like Nissan presents the Indominus Rex.
Right,
It's
right,
like
right,
that's
right.
not what I want.
No,
Even like
it's
you
so
making
bad.
a joke about it doesn't make
It
it,
pisses
like
me
okay.
off.
Doesn't make it a good.
It pisses me off because I'm not stupid and I like movies.
Right. I'm like,
you're
I'm glad
pissing me off.
I'm glad you're drawing attention to your obvious product placement, but it doesn't make it better
We
on my
already
end.
know,
Mm.
and this doesn't make the viewing experience any better.
Yeah, I'm like, it doesn't take me out of the movie any less.
right.
Like, come on.
You should be doing stuff to put me in the movie, not remind me on why I'm going to make fun of it when it's over.
Right.
We're definitely circling back to actually talking about the movie, but I do want to say I'm really curious, like, what are they gonna do me not have seen
Right,
the next
right.
two movies. What are they gonna do that's not the exact same thing?
And like,
Because it feels like that's what it's gonna
well,
be.
I will at least give you hope. They build the world. It's a lot more like on the ground. You're with
Yep.
more dinos. You're with more people.
So Jurassic World.
No.
Because they
This-
did that in Jurassic World. They made it like, oh, there's actually people in the theme park.
Yeah, but it's not a theme park anymore.
Ah.
After this first one, it becomes them actually going into the wild
Yep.
with dinosaurs. Because like apparently there's 37 other islands that John Hammond made dinosaurs on. So.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
don't spoil anything else
I'd have
for
left
me.
that part out for her, Steve.
Oh,
but
sorry.
That's all right. I was hoping you weren't going to say that.
Well, it's fine. Obviously, dinosaurs are going
Yeah.
to be in the next one.
It's-
Yeah,
and-
okay.
And they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But no, they find their ways of continuing it. But
Life finds a way. Oh,
yeah. Oh God.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yo,
He pissed
we
the
almost
dinosaurs off.
He's coming for us.
Michael almost lost a hand there.
Woo!
He wouldn't hurt me. I'm on his side.
For our audio listeners, we just had a dinosaur attack.
We had a dino malfunction.
There's
Here
a
on set.
dino on the table, and he
Speaking
tried to
of-
attack.
Like dinosaurs malfunctioning. I liked the animatronic,
Yes.
the practical,
Yes.
and I mean, you've heard me say this a lot, but it's like, if it's real and the actor's touching it, I'll take that over everything except for the actor is green screen.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's somebody standing in a warehouse doing nothing, and then they're just like, let's put a movie behind it. It's like,
Yeah.
I hate that so much. So like the breathing of the Triceratops, it was janky. It was clearly not a real Triceratops, right?
But
I
it
would
looks
hope. But
so much
But
better
it was
than CG.
the actor was moving up, and you can see it on his face because he's actually getting moved up and down by something that looks like a dinosaur belly,
yeah.
Right.
which is cool, and you can respond to that.
Yeah. That's always going to be cooler. And even with the landscapes, like, you can tell there are some times where you're like, all right, they, maybe they changed the sky a little
Right.
bit to make it look how they want it. But for the most part, they're really in a landscape where there's trees and bushes that aren't just all fake and put it
Yeah.
in the background.
Right. When they're shooting in a field, they went to a fucking field.
Yeah.
No, and it's like we've said before. If you have something to actually put on film, it's gonna look better than adding it afterwards.
Yep.
Like like if you look at these like the modern ones, like the dinosaurs look cooler, but they're obviously really, really good CGI.
Yeah.
Like with this, you can tell when a robot dinosaur is on the set,
Right.
or like
And that
when
guy
they
gets
have to-
slung around.
or if they have to touch it up with CGI. Like there are shots in this movie where you're like, okay, so that's the CGI T-Rex. Oh, that's the CGI raptor. But there's also scenes where
And then
you're like,
like,
that's a real freaking raptor.
that thing's trying to bite that kid.
Right. So it's like they took the time and made the movie believable. So when that first scene happens where Laura Dern sees the brontosaurus for the first time,
Yeah.
and you're like, you see that reaction on her face, like you as the audience member is like, holy shit,
Like,
okay, cool, this is awesome.
They
Like, we're seeing
actually got real
dinosaurs.
dinosaurs
Yeah.
for this.
How the fuck did Spielberg afford real dinosaurs?
I know. He did.
And I'm sure back in 93, the CG looked really good.
Yeah,
I mean, it seems very good for the time.
right.
It was before I was born, so I mean, that's impressive, you
Like,
know?
this is a movie that will hold up for years just because of the practical elements and the CGI
Yeah.
working in tandem.
And
Like,
it has for 30 already.
yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to pay really close attention to sometimes with the older CG, they get the scale a little bit off,
Yeah.
and so you can kind of tell in that T-Rex scene where he's looking into the cars and everything from the one angle. His head looks kind of one size, and then he gets closer and it looks ginormous. So like you can tell if you look real close at like some of those things that are just a little off.
right.
But I'm paying a lot more attention to it now in 2024
right.
than 2025.
Yeah.
It will be when this episode comes out. So yeah, it again for the time it was really, really good. And especially with the raptors like chasing them around in the
Yeah.
kitchen and stuff, like that was really good. And also the rain scene with the T-Rex. Again, they made that T-Rex look so
Like,
good in that
perfect.
lighting.
Yep.
Like in
the-
that entire scene, it was hard for me to point out when he was CGI and when he was
And
Yeah,
it's more
I was trying to
because
tell.
you weren't paying attention to it because it puts you in the movie.
Yeah,
Mm.
and it's a great tension building scene.
Yep.
Like the power's going out slowly. They're just waiting there. You're hearing the footsteps of this thing coming towards you. You see the goat is now gone. The leg lands on the ceiling. Then the friggin' electric fence starts breaking. So it's like they're building this awesome tension to when this thing finally breaks through its paddock and is walking around free roam.
Yeah,
Like,
they
it's
did
insane.
They did say
Mhm.
paddock a lot in
There's
this
a
movie.
lot of paddock.
It's a Tyrannosaurus paddock.
Well, yeah, that's
It's like what?
that's the word in Australian. It's a paddock.
It's a paddock over here. But you know, to kind of tie into that, they did a lot of little stuff too. With when the kids are getting chased, that clicking of that big claw
Yeah.
on the
Mhm.
ground, like it steps in front of the camera and then it clicks, and you're just like, somebody thought to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, you know, I remember, you know, I don't remember seeing it for the first time as a kid, but as you watch it, you're just like, oh, right. It's a thing that's thinking it's smart. It would have the presence of mind to just be fooling around.
Right.
Mm.
Well, and then I think Danielle pointed out while we were watching the film, the flashlight into the T-Rex's eye.
Yeah.
And how the
pupil
pupil
shrinks.
dilate, and you're just like,
Yeah.
ooh.
So you can tell at that point, I'm pretty sure that they used the real practical head and then they just CG'd the eyeball to
Right.
make it blink, because obviously you can't really have a dilating eyeball mechanical thing.
I mean, you
you could,
you probably
but-
could, but
It
that's
looked
most
really
likely-
good.
Yeah, it whatever way they did it looked awesome,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things that you're like, oh right, eyes do that,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I don't think you would have noticed unless they did it, and that's kind of a good filmmaker.
Yeah. Another little filmmaker thing that I liked was when they show the rear view mirror when they're driving away from the
Yeah,
T-Rex,
yeah.
and it has the objects in mirror maybe closer than they appear, and his mouth comes at the,
Which
the
I
mirror.
don't even think that's on mirrors anymore.
Yeah,
not
mine
anymore.
says that. I have a 2007.
But like, and I just love how in this movie they give the dinosaurs like characteristics. They actually like make them characters. Like when they're
Yeah.
talking about the Velociraptors when it's Sam Neill and the Australian guy, like they're going back and forth while John Hammond's trying to distract the other characters. You can barely hear them talking in the background where he's like, have they shown intelligence? Yes, they're very intelligent.
Yep.
How have
To the
they
point
tried
of
to
problem solving, and
It's like, have
yeah,
they tried to escape? Yeah, they're testing the fence systematically to see
Yep.
where they can get
check
out
it for
from.
weakness?
So it's like they're already building the idea in your head that these raptors are going to get out and they're going to be a problem for our characters to handle because they're smart, they're intelligent, they know how to hunt, they're good at like tricking people.
So that is set up, and then they decide to send the two small children out with strangers, and
Yeah.
Yeah, not the best decision, like Grandpa.
Not good choices, but like I just love the preemptive setups, whether you're like this is your first time watching it or your 50th time watching
Right.
it. You're going to get to that scene and be like, "Oh shit, I bet you something's going to happen with the raptors if they're drawing this much attention to how
Mhm.
good the raptors are at killing things."
And then it matched how they set it up,
yes.
which is probably my least favorite thing about a lot of movies is, oh my word, we're gonna set this up like crazy, and it's like, and you did that with it.
Yeah,
you
and
did
then the
that.
payoff is
you did.
nothing.
There's no payoff. This
Yeah.
matched exactly, if not, like it matched the setup and then exceeded what we were expecting, because we were
Mhm.
expecting some sneaky stuff, and you know, we were expecting that behavior from the Raptors, and then they did even more, like because
Yeah.
they're walking around a kitchen, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like, all right, put the dinosaurs inside, and then they actually had to figure stuff out because they
Right.
weren't in their own environment.
Yeah. And they're
Yeah.
freaking opening doors.
Yeah. Easy peasy.
Yeah. So it's just like
It struggled with the pushing
Yeah,
the door
and-
open, but he got it. He figured it out.
And they they really start getting away from that in the future movies, but that's the stuff.
big time.
Yeah, but like that's the stuff I thought was really cool about this one, where like the dinosaurs aren't just an added bonus. They're a character.
Yep.
And it's
Mm.
like a living, breathing thing in the movie. We're seeing how these dinosaurs react to being in captivity, to being free once in captivity. Like, they're going to freak out. They're going to go find food. They're going to start hunting. Like, they're going to start clicking into their natural instincts. So it's like, it's cool seeing the story kind of revolve around the dinosaurs being animals and not so much the dinosaurs being a commodity.
Right.
Yeah, and it's cool how they interact with the different dinosaurs in different ways. And yeah, like them being their own characters. I mean, that's really what it is, because the T-Rex interactions are crazy different, and it's more of trying to hide and everything.
Yep.
When they're with the raptors, they're like, how do we outsmart them, basically?
Right.
And then like the Triceratops, that's sick.
Yeah.
Like you kind of get the sense that it knows the people are trying to help it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then when they're all in the tree, and they like hand feed the what do they call it? The
Brontosaurus.
Vegisaurus.
Yeah, the Vegisaur.
Or whatever, and then they give you a little bit of levity where, you know, it looks like it has a cold, which is like, okay, I don't know how that kid knows that.
How would you?
But then, like 12 seconds later, it sneezes in the girl's face, and you're like, oh, that was, you know, some comic relief.
Yeah.
But no, they I think they did a good job with this first one, like setting the tone, kind of like giving you some levity, giving you some serious scenes where like people actually die in this movie.
Yep.
But it's not enough where it would like deter you, or it's like it's not too graphic, it's not like vulgar or anything like that.
No main characters got killed, so it's fine.
Yep.
Right.
Pretty much.
And the kids survived, so it's fine.
Yeah, they didn't kill any kids in this movie, so it works out pretty good.
Ugh.
But no, it's just so nice going back. It's been so long since I've sat and watched this
I haven't
one.
seen it for a while.
But I remember this was one of those pivotal movies as a kid, watching it and being like, okay, I like movies now. Like,
Yep.
This is why I like watching movies. It takes you out of whatever reality you're in, and now I'm watching people try and run away from a dinosaur theme park. Like it's insane. You
Right,
would
and
never get to experience that.
And it does such a good job at doing that with something that's so unrealistic.
Right.
And especially, 20 years ago, probably when I saw it, it was like, 20 years before now, that making dinosaurs was, I mean, they can clone people and sheep now. So like we're a little closer to it.
Right.
But back then when you first see these films growing up, you're like, this is why I like movies. It's on planet Earth. It's still a fantasy story, but a lot of times during the movie, you're like, I could see this happening. Like, that's what would happen. That T-Rex would just, there's no electricity. It's just gonna walk through the fence.
Yeah.
And guess what? The T-Rex just walked through the fence.
I also like the little bits of, DNA and that sort of sciencey conversation. I was the science girl in high school. So yeah, I thought that was cool that they at least give you like a little bit of explaining that, and also the whole like taking DNA from frogs, which is like, why frogs? Like, wouldn't you choose like lizards? I don't know, but aren't they a little closer? And how with the reproducing, and they find the dinosaur eggs, and you get like that little bit. They really don't talk about it too much, but they give you the little bit of, well, some frogs have been known to change genders.
Like, they give you enough of the science aspect of it to have it make sense, but they don't go too far where it's like, okay, I don't know what you're freaking explaining to me, but like you put it in layman's terms. Okay, so we needed to fill in DNA. We
literally watched the infomercial for how to do it, and we were like, that was cool. Where if they did that for any other movie nowadays, it would just suck ass.
Right.
But they did it in a way, and they had a little character, pop up and explain stuff, and he was cute and bubbly.
Yeah, and like they do it in a fun way where it does feel like you're on an amusement park ride, where you're like, oh shit, I'm learning about It's a Small World and how they made it.
They start like moving in the chairs when they're going through the tour of the facilities.
Yeah,
they do that.
They just rip the
safety bars.
Wait, can they do that? Are they allowed?
In their defense, they did just
Barely
sweep
turn.
past the room with the dinosaur eggs in it. they're just like, here's the dinosaur eggs. This is all the cool stuff that the scientists want to see.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Here's where they live. This is what we're going to do in the future. It's like, wait.
Yeah,
No,
clearly the scientists want to see that.
I just love like as they're going by, like Sam Neill and Laura Dern ask the most like nerdy questions, like, what about the mitosis process?
Right.
How did you stop the gene splicing? And it's like, all right, cool. So we have the nerd characters
Yep.
being nerds and like geeking out
Right.
about something they just want to know more about. So it like as like sitting there as the audience member, you're like, well, yeah, tell it what's this mitosis I keep hearing about? Like,
yeah, how'd they do that? Because there's going to be
explain
gaps
this.
in the genes because the character that I believe in just said, how did
Yeah,
you fill
like,
in the
how
gaps?
did you do that?
Yeah,
Mhm.
we want to know how you filled in those
Yeah.
gaps.
I want to know how they didn't have like a bunch of weird mutations. Like,
Right.
how did they all come out perfect?
That
Right.
was a different building.
Also,
with
how
a
did they-
furnace in it?
I don't know how they got all the different species of dinosaurs just by having like a mosquito
Well, they had
or
lots
maybe
of
a couple
mosquitoes.
mosquitoes.
Well, he had one on the end of his walking stick, so they probably
Yeah,
had a few.
True.
Right.
If they were that disposable that you could put it on a walking stick.
But even with that, I just
Yeah.
like that it's like a good enough explanation where you kind of hear, oh, we got it from mosquitoes? Okay, cool. Moving on.
They have blood. Blood has DNA. The DNA was the dinosaurs. Now we have dinosaurs. All right, cool. It all
Great.
goes in a line.
Yeah,
and-
because I'm trying to think of another way they could have done that,
Hmm.
but like nothing would really make sense. Like, oh, well, from their bones, we were able to get the marrow from inside and like
Mm,
grow a
the-
dinosaur out of soil.
the,
It's-
the bones aren't bones. The bones are rocks.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, at that point in the
Yeah,
fossilization.
anything that would have been DNA based
stone.
would be
yeah, so it's
Powder.
like it's a good enough explanation where it doesn't leave me going like, well, that doesn't seem right.
Right.
It's like, no, it makes enough sense for our
Mhm.
fantasy movie about a dinosaur.
Yeah,
theme
I
park.
mean, Spielberg.
Yeah, exactly.
Spielberg has a good,
thinks
good storyteller,
things through.
good filmmaker.
Yeah.
That's why it was this good. And you know, some of his films are better than others, but this was one in the early '90s where I don't really think had they done another dinosaur
No,
movie.
outside of like
besides
that.
Godzilla.
Aside
right.
Of that,
That's
like,
besides monster movies.
yeah, like there was that Whoopi Goldberg movie where it was more like that
Yeah.
family drama, but with
that was
like
awful.
it was just people in dinosaur
Yeah,
suits.
And
yeah.
the Velocipaster hadn't come out yet.
yeah, Velocipaster didn't come out yet.
Yeah.
That's on
Land
my
Before
list.
Time was animated.
Yeah, Land Before
Yeah.
Time.
There was like an obsession with dinosaurs in the 90s though.
Yeah,
I think
because of Jurassic
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
I think the Land Before Time series was like in part due to
Right.
Jurassic Park.
Because I remember, like, we would shop at Toys R Us when the third one came out, and even the second one came out, and there's dinosaur toys everywhere. There's
Yep.
Lost World magnets. There's Jurassic Park 3 toy. Like, you could buy every dinosaur in this movie if you wanted to.
And
Mhm.
there's the just cool factor of dinosaurs. Like kids now still, when they're little, they want to play with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dinosaurs are just cool. Like, it's
And-
cool to think that these things used to be the dominant species. Just walking around, like, eating their Dairy Queen blizzards and
Right.
and their
Eating
Domino's pizza.
The Vegisauruses and the Meatsauruses
Yeah,
all
yeah.
hanging out together.
Yeah.
Mm.
I wouldn't want to live there, but it would be cool to experience seeing a dinosaur. So,
Yeah.
you know, Bill Gates or Elon Musk, like, get on it. I want a Jurassic Park in 2025.
Don't
Figure it out.
wish for that, Steve.
I want to see
We're all
some
gonna
dinos.
we're all gonna die because of the dinosaurs.
Yeah, but we won't actually go. We'll just see the clips on YouTube. It'll
Oh,
be
okay.
fine.
We'll
Yeah.
just see
Oh, I'll
people
be
getting
showing up
torn
at the
up.
front door. Hey, I'll be there. Like, what are you doing? I don't
Michael will be
care.
the one filming everybody. He's gonna push
What
him
happened?
over
Ooh,
and then
we
just
got
film
him.
it.
Oops, somebody fell in the tank. Oops.
Oh no, somebody tripped into the Velociraptors. Oh,
So
I wonder
if-
what's going to happen. Better zoom in.
If I ask you if you want to go on a trip and I don't tell you and say it's a surprise, you're going to be fed to Velociraptors so I can get good footage.
All right, Steve, pack for an island getaway. I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen on the island.
I bet I
but-
could get a few of you idiots to come with me.
Pack your safari hats.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I have such a good time with this movie, even in the slow parts, even in the kind of
Classic.
like the kind of cheesy parts. Like, it's still, I mean, granted, I'm speaking out of nostalgia, so like this is one of those movies for me. So like, it's hard for me to see the flaws in it, but I get there's
Well,
probably
it's-
some
it's
going
the-
back like 30 years.
It's that kind of
20
movie
years.
for everybody.
Yeah,
You know, we all had the same experience with that.
yeah.
You know, and then young people are just wrong. So that's
Hear that, young people?
that's
You're
what
wrong.
we're supposed to do, right? We have our opinions, and then when we get old enough, other opinions are just wrong.
Yeah,
that's,
they don't matter
That's what
anymore.
you're supposed to do.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think this movie stands up to the test. It's a classic, and for it being a family-friendly movie, it doesn't feel like it's for kids.
Right.
Which I appreciate as an
Yeah.
adult. You
Yeah.
can still watch this movie.
tougher back in my day.
There's a good bit of, like, not really innuendos, but like it's just flat out flirting from
Oh,
Jeff
oh,
Goldblum.
yeah.
You put
and-
him in a movie, he's
Yeah.
gonna flirt with everything.
Well,
Yeah,
let
a
me
little bit of
explain
that.
chaos theory to you.
Like, I'm gonna-
Give me your
I'm
hand.
gonna
Your
touch
hand.
your hand. Give me a
Yeah. So, there's some things like that are kind of for the adults, and
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a little bit for everybody.
right. And the kids aren't super annoying, which is good.
Yeah. It's not that kid from the
So-
Babadook.
The kids did phenomenal.
They saved the day, I'm pretty sure.
And I mean,
little girl
like
did.
even like the mechanics of them being in the movie, like the kids did a really good job
Hmm?
being the only two children and being scared of dinosaurs. It's like
Yeah.
they did. I think they did great.
But they weren't so scared that they just like totally shut down. They were like able to keep going, and they got out of it, and they were like level-headed, like
Yeah.
crazy.
The freaking kid took 10,000 volts straight
Oh,
to
yeah.
the face, and he's just like, yeah,
Gangster.
I want to eat some ice cream and jello now.
that billionaire is his grandpa.
Yeah.
He's got some genes.
Yeah, he's got a trust
He's got
fund.
some genes.
He's got a trust fund waiting for him. He's like, I can't die. Can't die yet.
Well, I mean,
I need Hammond to pass away so I can get my inheritance.
yeah, his inheritance probably wasn't any more after the dinosaurs ate the people on Grandpa's Island.
Yeah.
He might have had some fines and restitution to pay.
Honestly, I think that's a theme in the second one. It's like a 5-minute scene where he's like, yeah, I've been dealing with lawsuits and all this other crap from the first one. But yeah, go
that's
find more
good.
dinosaurs for me.
So we thought we'd just kind of start off with like a super fun, something that everybody knows series to
Yeah.
start the year off with some dinosaur movies. Why not?
Yeah,
Can't
we
go
could.
wrong.
Let's just call it our Jurassic New Year.
Jurassic January.
Whoa.
There we go.
Whoa.
There we
Oh
go.
yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna spend some time with some dinosaurs, and 12-year-old Steve is really happy right now.
Right?
I'm
Yeah.
super excited to go
Yeah,
back because I haven't watched these movies. In
My
years.
10-year-old self is pretty happy with our choice of,
Yeah.
of what to do at the start.
Yeah, it was between this or the Hunger Games, and we're like, well, Jurassic Park's got dinosaurs. in
Yeah,
it."
I think that's pretty much what we said. We were like, let's do a dinosaur one.
That
I want
sounds
to do a
more
dinosaur
fun.
movie.
Well, I like the roaring and the biting and the roar. I like dinosaurs.
And I'm a park ranger.
Yeah, so
And I'm
you
the
know, where to
Macho Man, Randy Savage. So
you know where to place your lawsuits when the dinosaurs get out. The Ranger's right here.
yeah, the whole movie was her fault.
I'm the one who turned off the electric fence.
It's just I knew because we just see it's just her hand come up.
I was bribed. I wanted to make my money.
They gave me a Barbasol can. I had to get out of there. But yeah, join us next time for I believe the next one's called Jurassic Park: The Lost World.
The Lost World.
The Lost World.
Because then it goes way back.
Yeah, we're going all the way to Texas for
Because
this
we
one.
have
This
the
ain't
regular
Texas.
dinosaurs. Now we need the dinosaurs that were forgotten.
Yeah, we need the super dinos.
The super dinos.
Yeah. So join us next time as we cover the super
The
dinos.
super dinos.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Rah.